Are you ready to learn? Because my super experienced guests are ready to share some really valuable information. Make sure and listen all the way to the end to get help and support. So let's start with the best audio experience.
Hello guys, welcome to our show. Today we discuss about integrating website strategies with analytics, and I'm so excited to discuss this topic with Stela Yordanova. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, big pleasure. I want to learn more about that. I know it's important to have the right strategy to learn from data that you get. And because I see many companies ignore it, they usually replicate competitors, but it doesn't work today. If you don't consider unique selling proposition, your business preferences. Stella, before we start, just tell more about yourself, experience, background, and why you pay attention to website strategies and analytics.
Yeah, so I started back in the day, actually, the very early days of social media. That's how I kind of got into digital marketing. I was living in London at the time, and that's a very long story, but I'll cut it short. I started working for the British Red Cross as a volunteer, and I did some really cool social media stuff for them back in the very early ages. And that got me very kind of excited on using technologies and working with new technologies that were emerging back then. And, fast forward to now, I work for a company called salary.com, and I am their website strategy manager, I guess. And I do all sorts of different things, working with pretty much everybody on the marketing team. But primarily, we look at data to improve the website experience, to kind of summarize it. And this involves a lot of things. I work with our demand gen team because they're the ones sending people to the website. So we want to make sure those people have good experience. I work with our content team to present the content in a really good experience. So that's kind of where I am today and what I do.
Awesome. Love it. Yeah, interesting. You work in this website salary.com. I'm interested. We have discussion on Friday. And I found a study. If you wanna get more salary, you need to ask your boss on Friday because of having this positive feeling. So yeah, if you need more money, guys, just ask your boss on Friday. Of course, it's better to share some arguments why you wanna get more, but if you ask on Monday, it's I'm not sure that you can get positive response.
I think it's kind of either way. It might work, it might not, because on Monday everybody's rested and everybody's coming to work with expecting things to happen. So they might be up for it on a Monday too. You never know.
Okay, let's talk about marketing management. Marketing is huge. It's a big niche. If we
a lot of
just take digital marketing, a lot of different directions, paid marketing, organic reach, SEO, social media, YouTube, I don't know, a lot of niches. And I see, when I check out on LinkedIn job requests, many companies are looking for jack of all trades, who can help them with setting analytics, create the right strategy, create content, provide keyword research. I don't know how to do it, guys. I work plus 12 years on that, but I don't know how to do it because I know people, specialists can pay attention to a specific direction, then they can get great results. Stella, can you tell how to hire the right people? If you want to get results in marketing, any tips how to find people and create this management between departments, teams, specialists? Any tips about that?
Oh God, yeah, no, it's a great question. I don't know. It's kind of something on my end and how I've had experience. It might not work for everybody, and it's not just in marketing. I think when you think about hiring the right person, I feel like when you look at job descriptions, as you say, they list tons of different things, and I think you need to think about what is it that I want to achieve. Is it that that I would like to build a good brand and I want to encompass everything that's available from a marketing perspective, all channels, including offline. Let's not forget that offline is also a big thing. And if I want to do that, it's going to require a whole team. So maybe I need to hire somebody who can strategize first. And I think hiring somebody who can think about the big picture strategically and then figure out the execution and hire people who can execute on those strategies, I think that's probably a really good approach. But I feel like you're so right. Trying to hire somebody that can do all these things, ultimately will lead again to you thinking, no, something gets cannibalized on, so that something else gets done, and I need to think about hiring even more people. I think beginning, though, if it's a beginning, strategy is huge. You need to know where you're going before you're executing. So you do need to hire people that can build the big picture of for more strategic planning.
I want to ask you about creating the right strategy. I see it's a big issue. When companies analyze competitors, reach out to some experts and tell them, I want to get the sales, I want to get the same results, but competitors have their strong sides, their unique selling proposition, their customers. Sometimes it's not a good idea. Not sometimes, often. It's not always a good idea, because it's better to start from your strong side, where you can create great content, where you can satisfy customer intent. And once I spoke with webmaster who lost 400,000 traffic, but he didn't lose any sales. So Google dropped his ranking positions, but he didn't lose sales. So he got this traffic that didn't bring customers. Can you tell how to create the right strategy today in digital marketing?
$1 million question. I think so. Again, it always depends on your industry and on your niche. But in order to start, as a good place to start, and I think I don't think I'm telling people anything new, but you need to be very, very clear on your goals. I see, and I know I'm not saying anything new, but you'll be surprised how many people don't start from this perspective. So you need to be very clear on your goals, and I'm talking about the website specifically because that's where I work also, from strategic planning on the website, not overall, exposition shows, events, and things like that. So thinking on the website, you do need to be very clear what your goals are, and if your goal for the website is to bring leads, especially in the B2B world, this is kind of the end. And again, going back to the goals, getting you to the end goal, which is to get leads, there are many steps. So let's start with the first one. And speaking from experience, I would always suggest looking at the brand, because having a strong brand goes back to the example you gave, where Google might drop your rankings, but if you're a strong brand and people know very well who you are, you might not necessarily experience a huge hit in business and in sales. So if you start from that perspective, building a strong brand, the website is a tool to do that. So think about strategically what and how you can design and make the functionality on your website to make sure that you're building a good brand. I'm talking about colors and fonts and using kind of really consistent branding elements. That's a very good place to start. Then building the authority. So you've already built the brand, but let's build some authority. This is maybe where content and demand gen team can come in and work with building more strategic thinking around those components. Establishing this good authority. And then once you have those two components in place, then obviously the good experience on the website. Do I really have a good proposition so people can engage? Is my website easy to navigate? But in terms of starting a good strategy, I will always look at goals, what my goals are and what my end goal is, and how those other goals can help me get there. That's kind of my
I couldn't agree more with that. I think, you need to have clear vision, clear goals. And you remind me, Arnold Schwarzenegger, once he said why he achieved great results in sport, in filming, in politics because he had clear goals, So, and when he set up these goals, many people didn't believe that he could achieve them, including his parents. He told his parents, father, mother, told him, do something valuable, don't do it.
Yeah,
Why you are
yeah,
training a lot.
yeah, yeah.
So let's talk about clear goals. I see when people chase high volume, traffic, likes, comments. I don't know how to sell this stuff, even if I have a million views. But it's better to think more about what kind of leads you can get, how to monetize them, what kind of
Yes,
traffic. For me, it's better to get 100 people, but who want to buy than a million
yes,
people who don't care about your brand. So,
yes.
any tips how to unite your buying persona with these goals?
That's a great question. So yes, going back to this, everybody wants to see 1 million visitors every month on their website, but does this mean anything? Are they just coming to because they don't have anything else to do, which rarely happens? But you're right, you might experience some drop in visits, but this is because, I don't know, let's say you restructured your website and it hit a little bit and it's kind of got bumped into Google, but people keep visiting you from other websites like LinkedIn, which is a little bit more targeted, and the people who are reaching now through LinkedIn maybe are more likely to engage with you. I think you also need to consider it. Yeah, and it's also a matter of trial and error, as I like to say, and experiencing, is LinkedIn going to work for me? Is it Twitter? Is it something else? Is it working with influencers and having them mention my brand on their channel? So it's a bit of experience, trying, making mistakes, and getting to the right place at some point. But also, it's a little bit kind of speaking from experience, because I had a conversation recently with a few people. You think about your website and what it offers, and let's say you're offering something that marketing teams were going to use, a software that marketing teams can use. And you when you're building your content in your website and the strategies to bring those people, you really have a clear mind that you're bringing marketing people only. And I think this might be a little misleading, because let's say a software offers content ideas for writers, and think about maybe a legal website. They want to expand on their content, but they don't have a marketing team, and it's a lawyer that runs that website is researching a software offering that can help them with those content ideas. So you might be bringing other people to your website that will not necessarily use it, but they're doing the research and they're making the decision. So make sure you speak your kind of the language that you're using, the strategies that you're using. You're not necessarily considering only the people that are going to be using your product, but there might be other people along the way that are making the decision and making the research. So this unfortunately doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen right away unless you're really lucky. There's a lot of trial and error involved, I think, until you learn.
Stella, I don't know what can happen overnight. For me, I want to get it, but it takes time. Anything. SEO, social media, even paid marketing, it takes time to find what kind of paid marketing will work. So yeah, I agree. It takes time and patience.
And you need to be prepared to make mistakes and experience some negative effects from some of the things that you're doing. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. And then you
Stella,
can adjust your strategies.
Yeah, for me, it's hard to count how many mistakes I made in my life. A lot of them.
Hi, same.
I keep doing them, but I don't know another way how to learn.
No.
Because everyone starts from generic strategies, best practices. We learn them. Then after implementation, we got it. No, it doesn't work. We need to adapt, to change something, to find another way. So it takes time. That's okay. And you mentioned many times about branding. I think, like branding and marketing is quite different, but we relate to each other because, when people have choices, what to choose, they choose brands they know
They
because they
trust.
trust them.
Yes.
Yeah, because of authority. And my son never asks me to buy new sneakers. He always tells me buy Nike. Always.
Right. There you
And
go. Yeah, that's a great
yeah,
example. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
No,
Can you tell about this brand recognition? How to build it? How to create the right strategy to increase brand recognition?
yeah, that's another $1 million question. Again, I think it's so what makes strong brand matters. I think we all can agree. What makes a strong brand is um, kind of thinking from a marketing perspective. A strong brand is where people recognize it and people know it. So on the website, I mentioned this will be manifested with the colors that you choose, the fonts that you choose, the design elements that you choose. And every time you build a new page, whether it's a new product page or a new landing page or a new content, and you go away from those branding elements, I don't know, you choose an image that you've never chosen before. Let's say your entire website uses illustrations, and suddenly you publish a photo of somebody. That's a little bit of deviation from the brand. And it might seem small, but it's not a recognizable design element. And it's not going to make that strong impression and a strong after effect after people have engaged with your website. So I think a strong brand starts with a good vision of design and messaging, and then thinking about how you can transfer this online when you're doing your marketing through your website, through your visuals for paid media and display advertising, for your social media presence. Social media is all about visuals, especially if you're kind of on platforms like Instagram and TikTok even. There's a lot of visual elements there. And the more you stay true to the brand that you've had initially envisioned, the better is for people to remember, the better is for people to engage, and the more likely they'll be to trust you. That's how I see it based on experience that I've had.
Yeah. And it takes time as well, to build
Yes.
strong recognition.
Yes.
It takes
Yes.
time. So patience is part of the process.
Yes.
Okay. You mentioned about some elements like design. Yeah, it's important. But I want to ask you about the foundation of any marketing campaigns. And for me, the most important element is text. Because we submit text everywhere in video description, on blog posts, on websites. So it's important to write great text. And I see many websites can ignore even design like Wikipedia,
Yes.
Investopedia, but they add high quality, valuable text. Uh,
Yeah.
and can you tell how to write non-boring text in your content marketing? Because the reason why I'm asking about that, because we live in the era with AI. So
Yes.
we have ChatGPT, many other tools, Jasper,
Yes.
my tool. We have a tool on unmiss.com that can create text for all websites pages. We called like golden button, guys. It's not golden button. You need to develop, innovate, update, provide something new. And I see a big issue today when writers overuse AI, overuse even great writers. I cooperate with many writers who write for Forbes, Bloomberg, many other great publications, but all of them use AI. All of them generate text. I found this by using some AI tools that can
Mhm.
recognize that written by AI. And when you read this text, you don't feel a human touch. So
Yes.
can you tell how to use AI today, because we can't ignore AI.
No,
Everyone will
no.
use it.
And
It's my daily tool. But
I use it too. I use it too. Absolutely. Yeah. And text, however, is a big part of the design process.
yeah,
Text is very important. It's not, when I say design, I don't necessarily mean some fancy clip
yeah,
art. Text is huge. And Wikipedia, actually, the Wikipedia brand is very text heavy. So text is very important in terms of how it's presented, so it grabs people, because initially when they see it, they don't know if it's boring or it's AI or if it's well written. They need to engage a little bit with the way it's presented. I use AI, and I don't want to deny it. I think it's great. What I think, however, is that it should be used as a starting point or as a help hand, but it should never replace the kind of the opinion or the writing style. I work with writers as well, and I kind of can see every time I work with a different writer, there's a different style, and some of them are more engaging than others, and that's fine. You know, when you read a book, some books are better than others, but AI should be a tool for all companies that should be more of like a lending hand, a helping hand, but there's always needs to be a human touch. First of all, for fact checking, for adding this additional humor or more seriousness to it, depending on what language you're trying to achieve. And I am all about using the AI and using it to advance, whether it's your career or your brand, but it should come with hand in hand with some human experience in writing, in copywriting, in researching. A big part of the writing process is research, and I don't think AI at this point, they're trained, I'm sure, and they will improve, but the actual research is done by people, at least to me, and at least at this point in time. It might change.
I think, yeah, AI, it's only the beginning of AI journey.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I often learn experts' opinions about AI. And, you know, even before ChatGPT, once I read a book about Garry Kasparov. He was world champion in chess.
Yeah,
So
I know him. I know him well. I grew up in
yeah.
Bulgaria, so I know. I kind of know. I follow the chess.
Oh,
And
nice,
I'm a
nice,
big
great.
fan of chess.
Yeah, and I got his opinion about AI. He told he doesn't worry about AI at all because he was the first person in the world beaten by AI. So he lost a chess
Yes,
game
yes,
to
yes,
AI many years ago. And before ChatGPT, he told that AI is part of the process. It's not like replacement for human being. And if writers, I don't know, designers, any occupation, it doesn't matter what kind of occupation you have, AI, it's a good help. You need to consider
yes,
AI like to
yes,
help to
absolutely.
go ahead.
Yes, yeah.
But you know, and I think if you ignore AI today, competitors will replace you tomorrow, not AI.
No,
AI will
yeah,
not replace you.
yeah, yeah. That's what
But you
I
need
keep
to,
saying
yeah,
too, that the AI is not going to replace you, but the person that uses AI will.
yeah.
And I certainly I use it. I can't deny it, but it's more for help, and for kind of scaling as well, for doing more in a kind of shorter amount of time. So you're able to scale your job and your work and your projects.
Mhm.
So yeah, I totally agree with that. At least at this
Okay.
point, I don't know. It might. And I also know, I know this is a little bit off topic, but when it comes to voiceover, because my daughter wants to do voiceover, and I still think, while AI might at some point replace, or it might be used instead of actors, I still feel like there's something different about using an actor to voice over. And if you're making videos and you need somebody to voice it over and not talk in the video, again, I think I would probably find it more interesting to listen to a video that's actually voiced over by a person
Nice,
than
nice.
AI.
And you know, I think about AI when farmers got the first combine tractor, you know, and they felt, wow, we will lose our jobs because, but in some time they adapted to
Yes,
drive tractor combine to use this technology. So
yes,
it's
yes,
the same with AI. Just adapt faster than competitors, learn from that, and think how
yes,
you can improve
yeah.
your job with AI. Okay, Stella, I want to ask about metrics. You know, in marketing, we have a lot of metrics. Many metrics can confuse more than help, like volume. You know,
True.
when you check out
True.
volume, but I know some websites don't consider volume even to optimize content with zero volume, because with these keywords they can sell a lot more. For example, even if I get, I don't know, in the first ranking position with SEO, it's hard. In the first, it's very hard to overcome big companies like Moz,
Oh, yeah.
Ahrefs, Semrush, Neil Patel. But even if I have it, it doesn't mean that I can sell with these keywords. You know, so it will cost a lot of money, but it doesn't mean that you will sell. Can you tell about metrics that can help to create clear goals? Because you mentioned about clear goals, and what kind of metrics we need to consider today and how to understand them by creating strategy.
Yeah, no, great question. I think my favorite always, I look at engagement, and I look at engagement over time. Always rate. That's how I do it. How I've kind of have focused, and some people might disagree with that, but I usually look at rate. So it might, let's say you're suddenly looking at your numbers of conversions, and they're great, they're showing a big increase, but you're not looking at the bigger picture. And then you look at your rate, and your rate has actually declined, and this can tell you that maybe you've increased the people that come to a website, but they don't really do anything. So something in your strategic planning for your marketing and for your exposure of your brand and your website might not necessarily work. So I would normally look at rate, and I would look at trend over time. I'm a huge fan of trend over time. Again, it might not resonate with other people, but it has helped me look at and not necessarily month over month comparison, but year over year, previous years. The more you have, and considering what might have affected certain trends over time, to look what they are. So I always try to look at percentages, engagement, and trend over time. And it depends a lot. I'm saying these things, but in certain situations, maybe I'm looking at volume because, and I would have to look at volume because you've spent this amount of money, you've done something that you need to see whether it's actually reached the people that you thought you're going to reach. So it really depends on what you're trying to achieve. But if you're just starting with strategy and you have some limited numbers, I will look at some data for over time. If you're just starting your website, or you're just starting a brand and you don't have your own metrics, I love looking at Google Trends. It's my favorite tool in the world. I follow it all the time, but because ChatGPT is here to stay, but Google is also, I think, here to stay, and it's still pretty much where people go to. So their trends can show you a lot of how you can get started. It gives you some really interesting trend data when certain things peak up, when they drop, so you can expect, and maybe that in the summer your niche is going to slow down and it's going to pick back up in the fall. So maybe summer is time for experimenting, doing some different things, or maybe it's not. Maybe you do need the volume of people coming in order to experiment. So kind of adjust to what it's gonna make sense for your brand. But in terms of metrics, I said a lot of things. In terms of metrics, kind of my favorite is always rate and over time, trend over time.
Nice. Love it. Yeah, great. I want to ask you about your loving format of content. I found when people, companies, they check out competitors and try to replicate their loving formats. For example, if someone is good with YouTube, it doesn't mean that you can get the same results, because you need to love filming videos.
Yes.
You need to love filming short videos if you want a big win on TikTok. It's the same with SEO. You need to love writing to create such blog posts, because it's hard to win from the first piece of content. Like, I don't know, when I wrote the first article, that was terrible. When I filmed the first video, that was
Fine.
terrible.
Yeah,
It takes time, yeah, to get
it's fine,
experience.
but it's fine to be terrible. You learn. That's great. I think
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah. Can you tell about your loving format? What kind of content do you create to achieve success, and your methods how to overcome competitors?
I think it's my favorite. First, I'm going to start with what I consume the most, and I consume
Mhm.
mostly podcasts. I love
Mhm.
podcasts. I think it's a great way to engage, especially here in the US where people drive a lot. I mean, again, speaking from my guess personal preference, but you drive a lot, you don't have a lot I listen to audiobooks and I listen to podcasts. So I think podcasts are a great way, especially in the B2B world, to engage with your audience. In order to do a successful podcast, sorry, you do need to love it, as you say. You can't really start doing it and not liking it. In terms of what content to create, looking at your personas and to the people that you're trying to bring to the website. If you're targeting more finance, legal, that kind of niche, my experience is that they would prefer more written text and more kind of content that is in links and texts. And so you do need to think about how you can create a good one, and hire good writers. But if your audience is probably a little bit more from the younger generations just coming out of college and you're targeting to them, they might be a little bit more inclined in watching short videos. So that's how you need to go, and you need to find somebody who loves doing it and who's good at doing it. And I think that's how you should approach content. I think the ideal scenario is if you have the resources to create more types of contents as opposed to just one type of content in order to build a good brand and good engagement. But that requires resources. You can't have one person a person doing that. And the more content you create and you put on the website, you do need to think about another strategy, is how you present that content, and not just the page of the blog post or the page of the video, but how people find that. Because in the B2B world, people engage a lot with resources and white papers and ebooks. So you do need to think about, how do I structure that content so people can access it and have a good, designed with good experience resource section where can people access my library of content. So that's how I kind of see strategizing and working on your content strategy.
Nice, nice. Yeah, you unhided my loving formats, listening to audio podcasts, listening to audio books. I love all
I
of
love it
them.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, and uh, for me, audio podcasts are better because most podcasts have discussions, but
Yes.
audiobooks have one voice, and sometimes you can be distracted, can lose the
Yeah.
track of this
Yeah.
audiobook, and and you need to listen one more time. You can forget. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
I love reading books, but I love read from my Amazon Kindle. Sometimes I can listen to audiobooks,
Yeah.
but I hate, to forget what I listen.
It's
Okay.
my only way now to listen to books, because with the kids I don't have time to read books anymore. And it's the
Yeah.
only way for me now to engage with books is to listen. So I do that a lot. But I agree, podcasts are more engaging because there's a discussion happening, and there's a lot
Yeah.
of like aha moments when you listen to people kind of discuss.
Nice, nice. I wanna ask you about text-based content. You mentioned that you create this content, and today we have high bounce rate at any type of content. It doesn't matter, books, audio podcasts, videos. For example, according to data, readers only consume 5% of all information in books, so they bounce fast. It's the same with website content on YouTube. 80% of people live in the first 20 seconds. And once I had the conversation with Jim Edwards. He worked in Business Insider 10 years, and he told that success of this company depends on creating non-boring content. Uh, he left this company when the company was sold for $500 million. Good success, everything looks fine, but he told that in business niche, most content are boring. Okay, valuable, but boring, and people hate boring content. That's why they quit fast. So can you tell about creating non-boring content? Because you mentioned about structuring content, structure can help. Any
Yeah.
other tips how to create non-boring content?
If it's text heavy, it will ultimately come with the burden of possibly being boring to certain people. I think the way, so if you think about a blog post or an article, the way to kind of make it more easy to consume and digest and engaging for people, so less boring, I guess. I always think about possibly including anchor links at the top. It's kind of a design element. A lot of people do it, but that's one way for people to scan quickly through some headlines and see what's going to be most valuable to them, what they're looking for, so they could quickly jump there and see it. Another way that I really like, and I know helps me also when I consume written content, is always to try and include some data. My experience and looking at some research and some numbers, people love consuming data, especially now with all the data visualization tools. People love consuming data, and data can be a very, very powerful tool if it's designed well. Charts and graphs, it's another kind of area that I'm really into, making sure that you do effective graphs. And when you write about certain topic and there's data that can visually stop a little bit from all this written content, and it's not just a visual design of some fancy graphics, it's actually a meaningful visual, it will stop people to engage with it. And data can also give you the option to create maybe some gifs with it, or gifs rather, within your content. And then when something moves and it's again numbers that back up what you've written, it might make people to stop and read and make your content a lot more digestible and less boring. In terms of the actual written content, it's really a personal preference, but I love when there's a little bit of humor, even in more serious things, because the world is as serious as it gets. I think we do need something a little bit more lighthearted, I would say. So kind of having the personal touch to it, which, going back to the AI topic, can only be achieved if a human being has actually written it and given a little bit of a spin to it. So that's
Nice.
how I would kind of advise and recommend.
Awesome. I found one thing, when I cooperate with new clients, I check out their skills of SEO. If they understand how SEO works, then we can go ahead, because I usually get high results with someone who understands SEO. But if I see they want traffic, but have no idea how it works, I usually tell them, take my course. Take my course.
Yeah,
Lily Ray, Jeff Coyle, many other great experts, Mike Phillips, shared great lessons,
yeah, they're
and
wonderful.
they can learn from them, to understand why we need to create high quality content, what kind of backlinks we need to have, methods of getting backlinks, technical optimization, many other stuff. Because when they get the basic, we can go ahead. Can you tell how you can help team of marketers, specialists, to go ahead? Because the reason why I'm asking about that, I see when people in different departments don't understand each other. For example, salespeople don't understand or distrust marketers, and
Yes.
when you have the role like manager, you need to manage different people, and when they don't understand how to write great text without considering SEO, it doesn't work. So of course we need to write for a human being, but we need to add these keywords
Yeah,
anyway.
we need to write for SEO too.
So
Yeah.
can you tell how to cooperate or manage different people when so I mean, like, to unite them to get a cohesive goals?
To kind of find the gold middle ground, where you kind of you definitely write for people, but you need to bring those people to the website, and if they go to the search engine, I think, I don't know if I have a really good answer for this, but when we look at content strategy, there's kind of parts, I guess, to it, to build a strategic thinking and the strategic plan.
Mhm.
We look at those several parts. So we're going to have, let's say, this month, or let's say a little bit longer, I don't know, the quarter, this first quarter of the year, we want to write 10 blog posts, and 3 of those, or 9, let's kind of do them in 3. 3 will be SEO focused, because we want to get people to the website, and the research shows that, and so I hope I don't kind of make really big SEO experts laugh here, but I kind of, when I think about SEO content, I always think of doing things like what is compensation management, kind of the area where I work, or how to achieve compensation management. So I feel like those types of content that are a little bit more one-on-one, or a little bit more answers to questions, tend to rank higher. Let's say we're going to write 3 of those this month, because we know we want to bring people, and we know this might be the type of content that will get ranked high in Google. But we also want to make sure that we address certain pain points for the people that we want to bring. And let's say those pain points are not necessarily with high search volume, but we want to incorporate them too. So this will be the other section of addressing more pain points to those customers that we want to bring. And then a third section is, let's say, something that is related to, the area where I work, where we talk about compensation and fair pay and pay equity. There's a lot of legal components there as well. And legal stuff doesn't rank. Well, no, I probably should retract that statement. But legal stuff is not something people will search for. It's more for the actual experts that need the news, and that need to read more kind of an authority on the topic. So you have this content strategy for the next 3 months, where you're going to have 9 pieces of content. You're going to put the efforts to do SEO related content. You're going to put efforts to answer pain point questions, and you're going to put the effort to kind of and the effort and resources to do the legal section, because that's what the customer needs to hear. So I don't know. So hopefully I understood that right, but I think that it's always finding the middle ground, and you need to understand it. You have to put a lot of, not just one thing into consideration, but there's a few things you need to consider, and you need to understand that they will all serve a purpose for you at some point.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Stella, it's a big pleasure to get in my show, to learn from you.
Yes.
You lead me to an emergency room where I need to spend time to consume all your valuable insights. So, yeah,
Thank you.
love
Thank
it.
you for having me. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Stella, tell the best way how to keep learning from you, how to reach out to you, how to follow you.
Please connect with me on LinkedIn if you'd like. I don't have a huge social media presence. I feel like it's from work, because I do it with work, and I feel like my personal is kind of a little bit neglected. But if you'd like to connect with me on LinkedIn, I'd love that. And if you don't mind, I would like to mention a little website. It might not necessarily work for the people that listen here, but if you'd like to spread the word, I would love it. During the pandemic, I started a small website with my daughter where we try to teach kids data and data visualization. And you can follow some of our writings there.
Nice. I'm going to check out. I'm curious a lot, especially, when you have a cohesive content with kid. Wow. I tried to film videos with my son on TikTok, but he told me, oh no, that I don't want to film content with you because you are obsolete. Okay, create your content.
I still try to keep them out of social media, but with the website, it gave us something to do. And it gave me an option to kind of teach them some of the things that I do for work as well. So, and I think it's important for kids to learn data. I think data is amazing.
Nice.
But thank you so much. Thank you. I really, really appreciate your time. It's been great.
Yes, welcome. Yeah, love it. Okay, guys, you can find the link to the website and LinkedIn account in the description below. Listen us on Apple, Google, Spotify, and see you next time.
Bye.